Good morning, everybody. It is Deric, and I'm coming to you live from inside my Raptor, giving you guys today's message. Again, today we're doing the 31 Days of I Declare from Joel. You can buy this book on Amazon. It's easy to find. It's a tiny little book. It just says, I Declare 31 Promises to Speak Over Your Life by Joel Osteen. So I do this every day. I try to spread the word this way. I made these videos not for anything. It's just to help someone else out to hear a message. I mean, I don't make any money on this. I'm not selling these videos to you or anything like that. I don't talk about the business I'm in or what I do typically in any of these things, except, obviously what I'm in. I do say some stuff that I can relate to what the reading is today. So as you know, we're doing today is the 17th day of the month. So hopefully you're watching this and it is the 17th day. If it's not, figure out what day it is and find there's a whole list of these videos. Just pick out whatever day you're on, but it should be the 17th of today of the month, whether it's October like it is here, or it is January, or it is April, whatever that is. So 17th, I declare I will put actions behind my faith. I will not be passive or indifferent. I will demonstrate my faith by taking bold steps to move toward what God has put in my heart. My faith will not be hidden. It will be seen. I know when God sees my faith, he will show up and do amazing things. This is my declaration. What are they talking about? They're talking about putting action behind your words, right? Not just praying, because praying isn't enough. We have to do more than that. We have to put actions behind what we want. We have to physically feel it. We have to meditate on it. We have to do things to move forward to that. If you want to be a doctor, you can pray to be a doctor, and that's good. But you have to also do things like go to school, do your work, show up, do an internship. These are actions that you have to put behind also what you want. You know what I mean? So God will help you in the path of getting what you want. You just have to put actions behind it, actions in your faith. Like these videos, I thought about creating, and I was like, why am I just thinking about this? I'm just going to friggin' do it. So if you see the first one, it was totally on the fly. Like I just started out because I carry this book with me all the time, I read this to the kids I teach CCT to. So no matter what day I'm in there on Sunday, and if I do it, I read whatever day it is to them to give them an idea of something besides what they want me to teach all the time. This is just something extra to add to it. In the scripture, there was a man who was paralyzed. He would lie in bed at home all day long. One day he heard Jesus was in town teaching people. He convinced 4 of his friends to carry him on his bed over to the house where Jesus was speaking. When they arrived, the place was packed with people. They couldn't get in. They had gone to great lengths to get there. I'm sure the 4 men were tired. They could have easily become discouraged and said, too bad, it's not going to happen today. But not the paralyzed man. He was determined. You are closest to your victory when you face the greatest opposition. Another way of saying that is, it's always darkest before dawn, right? He said to his friends, I've got an idea. Take me up to the roof, cut a hole in, and lower me down so I can have front row seat in front of Jesus. They lowered this paralyzed man down on his bed, all curled up, and put him right in front of Jesus. The scripture says, Mark 2:5, begins when Jesus saw their faith. That's my question for you today. Do you have faith that God can see? Are you going to do something out of the ordinary to show God you believe in him? It is not enough to just pray. It's not enough to just believe. Jesus looked at the man and said, rise up and take your bed and walk. Immediately the man got up, he picked up his bed, he went home perfectly whole. There were other people in the room who did not get well that day. What was the difference? The man put action behind his faith. God is looking for people who have faith he can see, not just faith he can hear, not just faith that he believes, but also faith that is visible, a faith that is demonstrated. If you really want to get God's attention, put action behind what you believe in, right? How can you do that? What are some things you can do to show faith to God? You can do nice things for people. If you see someone, I grew up poor. We didn't have a car. My mom had to take the bus to work, and she would go to work the same time I had to take the bus. And she would walk by me with all my friends, and she'd get on the bus while their parents dropped them off at the bus stop. And it used to be embarrassing. I guess now thinking about it, I shouldn't be embarrassed, but I guess back then I was a kid. I didn't know I was embarrassed. I used to walk everywhere in the summer, spring, in the fall, and in the winter. And it sucked. And so I have a place in my heart when I see a mother walking by herself or with children. And it's difficult in this day and age to ask if they want to ride. One day I was coming from a listing appointment, and it was in a town called Hingham. It was Hingham or Hanover, I forget. It was a nice town. And I had crossed over, I think it was Route 3, or getting to Route 3A, whatever it was. I was going into Weymouth and Quincy. and it was sort of highway-ish at this one point, and it was snowy out. We just had a snowstorm. None of the sidewalks were plowed out. They were just all covered in 4 or 5 feet of snow. So I saw this mother with like a 4-year-old walking in the snow, and she was a different religion, a totally different religion. And you could see it immediately because of what the clothes she wore and what she wore in her head. Not that that makes a difference, but just when I tell the story, maybe you'll find a bit more. I saw this, and I immediately saw myself walking 30, 40 years ago with my mother, and just it sucked how much it sucked. So it was freezing that day. So I turned the truck around, I pulled over, and I just said, hey, I know you don't know me. Do you need a ride? It's warm in here, there's nowhere to go. And amazingly, she said, sure. I had kid seats in my car because I have kids. Her daughter got in the kid seat. She got in. I asked her how far away she needed to go. She said it's about 5 minutes up the road. It was warm. I had the heat on. I drove him home. She said thank you, and that was it. It was the end of the story, But nowadays, it's hard for a man to offer a woman and a child a ride. That was an extreme condition, so she just said okay, and maybe I didn't appear to be a weirdo. I mean, my look, some people think I'm a police officer for some reason. But that day, I helped her. So I put actions behind my faith. What can you do today to put an action behind your faith? What can you do to help somebody? That just brought some emotion, sorry. What can you do today to bring some action behind your faith? What can you do today to help somebody that's in need, or show God that your heart is turned towards him? Something to think about. Anyways, I'll put tomorrow's message up here, yesterday's message down there, or they'll both go up at different times. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment if you guys want. I hope you guys like these videos. I hope they're helpful, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.